Hey, welcome everybody. In today's video I'm going to be talking about why right now in 2018 it's a pretty good time to buy an Xbox One X. I just picked mine up last week. I've been incredibly happy with it so far, and I'm going to give you guys kind of a laydown of why it makes sense, why you may want to consider it, and also any of the discounts that are available right now. So I picked mine up from GameStop because I actually had my original PS4 that I traded in for this. Now at GameStop, if you're in the States and potentially in Canada, I'm not sure if they actually do the trade-in over there, but at least in the US, if you go to a GameStop retailer and you bring in your old console, they'll take your original Xbox One, they'll take your Xbox One X, they'll take a PS4, even the PS4 Pro, and you can trade that in for I think $250 credit. That's what I got to get this guy at $250, and that's a pretty darn good deal considering that currently it goes for $500. So that's the deal part out of the way. Now, what is the other reason why you may want to consider picking this thing up? Well, obviously Red Dead Redemption is around the corner, and this is the most powerful console, so you will be getting a really good game experience on that. And in general, there are a lot of multi-platform games coming out within the next year or so that are simply going to run better on this than they will on your PS4 Pro, and potentially even on PC. To be completely honest with you guys, I've been getting a lot of really bad stutter in games on the PC. Now keep in mind that I'm on the Vega card, and specifically the Frontier Edition, which is not necessarily a gaming specific card. It typically runs slower than the other Vega cards, but with all that said, again, this console is going to be the one that runs these games significantly better. But it's not only that, the fact remains that this thing has backwards compatibility, and not only with the original Xbox games, but also with Xbox 360 games. Now I have a couple here in front of me which I'm going to be actually playing and giving you guys later on basically a overview of which platform runs them better, and we'll kind of go from there. Now one of the one is Black, which is basically a shooter. It was considered basically gun porn back in the day. Really a lot of fun. This game is Xbox One X enhanced. The next one over is Crimson Skies. This is a classic, a lot of fun. There was a PC game before it, which was also incredibly fun, but this one has been Xbox One X enhanced as well. And the last one is actually Conquer. So Conquer is a lot of fun if you haven't played the original. You can actually get it from the Microsoft Store as it is an Xbox One X enhanced title. I'm missing the front cover for mine, but you've got multiplayer. You've got a really good campaign. It looks fantastic. I just played it recently, and will be more titles coming in general. So you will get more original Xbox titles that will run on this hardware, which again, on the PlayStation ecosystem, you do have PlayStation Now, you do have, the PS1 and PS2 classics, but again, there's only a limited number of games that you can play on there, and typically speaking, it doesn't have direct emulation, meaning you can't just pop in your disc and then, just get going on playing those games. You will have to rebuy them over. With this system, if you have the original Xbox games, especially the ones that are Xbox One X enhanced, all you have to do is put the disc into your console, and it can be the original Xbox One and the Xbox One S as well. Either one of them will work, but you will only get the 4K enhancement and as well as additional, better features on the Xbox One X. You do have the option to choose between performance mode and graphics mode as well, so there's a feature that you can enable which will allow you to effectively toggle between the two if you want to go that route. Now this is fantastic, obviously, and it provides you with another method to play your original Xbox games without having to basically, go out and rebuy them potentially, because if you just pop in the disc, it will download the new version and you'll be able to play it that way. Now if you don't have your original disc anymore, you can always just buy it from the Microsoft Store and play it that way. It's not a big deal. Either way, you'll basically have the game downloaded to your hard drive and you'll be able to play it from there. But something else that I wanted to cover as well is that, the Xbox One X is supposed to be part of the all-inclusive Xbox family, which means that when the Scarlet hardware comes out eventually, and there will be supposedly multiple SKUs of that hardware, but we're not going to get into that. When that does come out, this will still be able to play all the same games that you'll be able to play on Scarlet. Now, you probably will be able to play them in 1080p versus 4K, or you won't be able to play them at 60 FPS. You'll probably be able to play them at 30. But the fact remains that because Microsoft is now moving towards a more unified ecosystem with all their hardware, it means that they'll be able to play those games. Now, potentially there might be games that come out for Scarlet that don't necessarily work with the Xbox One X because maybe developers won't necessarily go that route, but by and large the majority of them will work. And the other bonus is that now that the Azure ecosystem for Microsoft is spreading quite significantly, you'll be able to most likely have enhancements for these original consoles for the Xbox One line that will be able to play the games that Scarlet plays with the enhancement from Azure. Now, of course, it does mean that you will have to have a pretty good connection to be able to play them, but the idea remains the same, which is that you'll be able to play those same games, which means that even though you won't have top-of-the-line hardware necessarily, you'll still be able to play those same games that your friends are playing that might be on a more powerful console potentially. The other reason, of course, why you would want to have one at this point is this console still has by far the best graphics. You'll be able to have all the multi-platform games which will perform a lot better on this machine, and of course you do have the ability to plug your TV straight into it and basically use this as your media player. Now, of course, the original Xbox One had the same functionality as well, but now you get the ability to do the same thing but with the 4K enhancement. Now, the other bonus, of course, of this hardware is that you also get a 4K UHD Blu-ray player, which is something that you don't get with the PlayStation 4 Pro. And that's a huge plus because if you recently upgraded your TV to a 4K TV, which is most likely the reason why you got this console hardware in the first place, then you've got the ability to pop those discs in and play those DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever you want to play. That will all run on this system, and it will run at an upscaled resolution potentially for the Blu-rays or DVDs, and then if you want to do the 4K Blu-rays, you will get those natively with HDR as well, so long as your TV set supports it. So all these little factors kind of combine to make this a really worthwhile purchase right now, especially if you are able to get that $250 off discount, because that effectively puts this thing into the same league as the older hardware in terms of pricing. And that's really, ideal, because that's potentially what you would want to pay for something like this, right? I mean, you don't really want to go out and pay $500, unless of course you just have the money to spend on it. But going, that route, being able to get that money off, you essentially get the best console hardware that there is right now. Now, obviously, this is also a very portable console, significantly smaller than the PS4 Pro that I've seen, at least, in terms of the, overall dimensions. It's smaller, so it'll be able to fit into your home theater system a lot easier, certainly a lot easier than your original Xbox One if you still have that one. And again, you will be able to use that trade-in money for those purposes. So all these factors make this console really quite a pleasant experience, considering the fact that you have all these additional features now and the ability to have backwards compatibility to play your 360 and original Xbox games all on one system. And the nice thing that Microsoft has done is that any of the downloads that you had for the 360 games will actually be playable for the most part on this console as well, so long as they're in the backwards compatibility section. And so that makes it really nice, because if you do have downloads or arcade games, then you'll be able to still play them on this hardware, which makes it quite a nice purchase, because again, you'll be able to play those with upgraded graphics, or at the very least at a higher resolution. So this is my quick overview of the Xbox One X for this video and the reasons why you should consider getting one. Really fast, really kind of just not getting into the nitty-gritty. What I will be doing next in my video is I will be actually going over basically the differences between the original Xbox versus what you will see on this console hardware. So you'll kind of be able to see the differences in what's been upgraded in terms of the resolution and in terms of the frame rates and so on. And one last thing that I wanted to mention is that even though the emulators for the original Xbox are starting to really pick up recently, they still don't play the classics that this is able to play at the same resolution, and certainly not at the same frame rates that this is able to put out. So again, even though by the time the Scarlet hardware comes out, which may potentially be even better at backwards compatibility and be able to play at even higher resolutions, this is still the best option right now, even though you have the ability to still play on the original Xbox and on an emulator potentially for some of these games. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're ready to purchase one yourself, again, I'd like to hear about it and what your reasons are, if they might be different from mine. So let me know. If you like the video, of course, go ahead and leave me a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more awesome content. And I'll see you guys in my next video.